Everyone. Oh, hi, no one, because no one's here. Um, got a slightly wonky platform, as always. Two people, hello. Hi, Brian. Sorry about the inconvenience of having to set this up again. Please let me know if you can hear me. I'm just going to budge up a little bit. Oh, yeah, I've had to start this again. Hi, Alan. Yeah, sorry about this, but we are here. Um, I've just deleted the scheduled one, as I thought I would need to do. Let me just check the details in there. Oh, goodness me, YouTube. Why it doesn't like me doing dates and hashtags and whatnot. Okay, let's stop messing about with that. Hi, Paisley. I don't think we've met before. Hi, lovely Rainflower Farm. Hello, oh, Kerry. Have I got your name right, Kerry? And if you don't answer me, that's because I've got your name wrong. I hope you're all well. Yes, I remembered. Cool. Um, so I'm going to be really boring and ask what you've been up to over the weekend, which is pretty neurotypical thing to do, isn't it? What did you do over the weekend? Or tell me a fun fact. That'd be a more autistic way of opening the conversation. Autistic tech. Hello. I have a tech question to ask. I'm going to see if more people turn up in the room, and I'm going to shamelessly use the opportunity to ask more intelligent people for some advice because there's something on my mind that's annoying me. As you can tell, I'll cheer up in about 20 minutes, I think. Although I am a lovely Rain, so you can call me Rain too. Cool. Kerry, Rain. I'm trying to think of my weather name. Drizzle. Well, that makes me sound like a rap star, doesn't it? You can call me Drizzle, which makes me sound quite cool, actually, doesn't it? Or maybe not. Maybe that's just me. If I put my hood up and went like that and said, I'm Drizzle, would that be any better? Maybe not. Yeah, that's it. From now on, I'm not called Autistic, not Alien. I'm not called Neil, which I hate my name, my real name. I am Drizzle, a light flow of grey rain. That's my destiny in life. It's another Helen, Helen Askew. Hello. Helen's a popular autistic name, although not everyone is necessarily autistic in this virtual safe space. If you're neurotypical, you are more than welcome. For Drizzle. Thank you, Netflix. Yeah, for Drizzle. Yeah. When I try and do these fun things, I just tell the world that I've got arthritis. You can call me Dimpsy. I'm going to lose track of all these names. If you've not suggested a pseudonym for yourself, then put it in the chat. Otherwise, I'll never know because you can't talk to me through the internet. I've just heard laughter upstairs, so I'm thinking my daughter might have logged on to my live stream. I did actually suggest it. Um, I'm kind of hoping that's the reason she's laughing. Her boyfriend's up there. Let's move on. Good morning from Washington State. Hi, Danelle. How are you? Washington State. I read, I'm going to be typically autistic because I am autistic. Um, I went to see the band Scissor Sisters last night. I'm going to type it in because I can't say it properly. It's quite difficult to say. And inevitably, as is my habit, my autistic habit, I wanted to do a bit of research, do a deep dive. So Wikipedia is usually the first port of call. And I was reading about Jake Shears, the singer, and I'd assumed until late last night that he was from New York, but no, he was born in Arizona and he was raised in Washington State on an island in the estuary between Washington State and Vancouver. I did not know that. I was very interested. I didn't even know these islands existed. I'm making treats for my crow friends up to my elbows in dough, so not much chatting here. Yeah, carry on. I'll just witter on as usual. Um, that's cool. Um, so let me just see, checking for pseudonyms and checking for chat. Um, so yeah, I think I'll ask my technical problem. Um, and in the vain hope, the selfish hope that anyone out there might be able to help me. Don't worry if you can't. I'm checking my bank statement and I've got a Patreon that I didn't even know about. I'm losing money through a Patreon that is not on my Patreon membership list. And I don't know I don't know if I can cancel it because I didn't even know I had it. And I just know I'm going to go to the bank tomorrow and they're going to say, "Oh, well, you've got to go to the person that you're subscribing with." That's the point. I'm not subscribing with them. I don't have a Patreon with them. I only have one Patreon and it's with Epoch Philosophy. I don't have any others. I have one with Paul, actually, adult with autism, but he's set me up with a free one because he's nice and we're mates. But I don't know how to cancel the Patreon that I'm not even signed up to. So it's been bugging me since this morning. So yeah, if you've got any advice on how I can sort that one out, that'd be great. But if you haven't, then it's my problem, not yours. So don't worry about it. San Juan Islands, that's the one, between Washington and Vancouver Island. He's a lucky guy. Well, he was a lucky guy. It's just he grew up there. He's living in England now. Another fact I found out that he's got a 5-year visa to stay in the UK. And when he was on stage last night, he hinted that he was quite pleased not to be in the States right now for obvious reasons. But we're more than happy to have him. He's brilliant. Stay forever, Jake. Is money actually going out? Yeah, it is. £6. It's not £6 English. It's not a huge amount, but it's annoying because it's my money and I'm just losing it. So yeah, it is going out on the 14th of every month. It's driving me crazy. But yeah, bank should be able to help. But I have been into my bank to cancel Patreon before, and they said, "Oh no, you have to go back to the Patreon." Um, and then when I was Googling this morning, I went on Citizens Advice, and they said, "No, the bank should be able to sort it for you at their end." So wish me luck in having that conversation. And I hate confrontation. I'm autistic. I just want peace and quiet. And I'm dreading it already, going into the bank and they'll say to me, "Oh no, we can't do anything about it." Well, according to Citizens Advice, I am within my rights to insist that they do something about it. And if they don't, then I can escalate it. But I don't want to escalate it. That's just even more stress. I just want them to cancel it so I can stop thinking about it. And I hate thinking about money. I don't like thinking about money. It's like thinking about oxygen. It's just there, just a means. It's not the end in itself. Don't want to think about it. I want to think about YouTube. I want to think about autism. I want to think about music and football. I don't want to think about money. So yeah, I'm getting myself wound up and knowing that I'm autistic does help because I'm like, yeah, this is what your brain does. It fixates and catastrophizes. But as I said in my previous video, it's because I consider all possibilities, or as many as I can think of, and try to prepare for how I'm going to deal with them. So yeah, wish me luck. If it's tied to a card, you can cancel the card. This is my fear that I'm going to have to set up a new change my account number, and then all my other standing orders are going to be messed up because then I'll have to change my account details for the standing orders. It's just such a brain ache. I will talk about something more fun soon, I promise. Um, I don't. People don't associate happiness with rain the way I do. I love rain. It's raining now. What it was. It's got that petrichor. Is that the name for this the smell of rain? Petrichor. Anyway, I can smell it through the front door. Um, Netflix, you've been very helpful, all of you. Thank you for indulging my whinge about a Patreon that I don't know anything about. There should be a pre-authorized transaction that they can invalidate. God, I'll have to write that down. That sounds meaningful stuff, man. Thanks, Nitflickwick. Nitflickwick. Pre-authorized. See, this is shameful. Honestly, when I set this up, this live stream, obviously, well, I say obviously, I had no idea until this morning that I'd had this Patreon mess. So don't think that I set up this live stream just so I can get free banking advice, although I am very grateful for it. This is the community that we're in. A very pragmatic, functional, compassionate community. I'm just tapping into your expertise and generosity. It's a two-way street. If you want me to help with anything, not banking advice or anything technical, then I'll let you know. Um, no, then you let me know if I can help. Yeah. Three, authorized. So talk amongst yourselves. Authorized transaction that they can invalidate. I can't read my own handwriting now. That's a problem. Yeah, good one. I'll try that one. Write down everything to help you. Yeah, that's what I was just doing. Hi team, Agent X-Force. Checking in. I'm out cleaning my car. What you up to? Everyone's just listening to me go on about a Patreon mess. Um, Sounds like fraud. Can't be reported to Patreon. The thing is, thank you, Tom Tom. It does seem like it, but are they going to do anything about it? Um, a dispute would affect his real Patreon account. I'm kind of done with the Patreon now. I'm so stressed out about it. I just don't want anything to do with Patreon. Um, so yeah, it's a pain, but I will deal with it. Hi Kay, how you doing? Yeah, so let's move on from that because that's just me moaning. But then that's what happens in the live streams. I moan about stuff, but normally big and meaningful stuff, not my own small problems in life. Or maybe I do a combination of both. I don't know. Have you got any problems you would be willing to share? Or is that just opening up a hornet's nest? Or you got anything fun to share, if only to distract me and everyone else from what I keep talking about? Um, if there's direct debit, you should be able to cancel it manually via your banking app website. Yeah, I was on my banking website. Well, maybe I should try that again. Um, Scorching sun. So where are you, Kate? Did you tell me that? Donnell's in Washington State. Hi, Lily. Just noticed you're here. Get busy with the drizzy. That's the album title. I am Drizzle with Get Busy with the Drizzy. You just know that would be a banger, don't you? See, this thought showering. Ah, what a pun. We're thought showering about Drizzle. There we are, autistic ADHD connection making there. Um, I use thought shower because brainstorming is not the way to express that concept anymore. No, thought showering. I prefer thought showering. Um, so yeah. So scorching sun. Where is this scorching sun? It has been very warm in the UK the last couple of weeks, or even longer than that. Unnaturally warm for May, but it seems to the clouds seem to be making up for lost time. They've turned out in force today, and it's horrible. Bank holiday Monday. See, this is the irony. I find out about. I'm talking about it again. I'm have this banking issue, this Patreon issue. I've only just found out about it on a bank holiday. Ugh, the gods are against me. I can't go into the bank because it's literally a bank holiday. The one day I want to go into a bank, it's a holiday for the bank. You're in the Canaries, Kay. Blimey, did you live there? You're on holiday. Wow, I bet it is warm. You're just hopping onto the bus and you're listening to me whinge about a Patreon account. We've all got to get our kick somehow, haven't we? Um, Hi, Damien. Went on holidays, self-guided walking trips are good. Expensive though, are they? If they're self-guided, surely you don't need anyone to guide you, so you're not having to hire anyone. Why are they so expensive? Agent X-Force, you have something fun. A new hose gun with 8 different spray settings. Now, normally I'd look down my nose at guns being fun, but a hose gun ooh, with 8 different settings, that's universally fun. It's impossible to dislike a hose gun with 8 different spray settings. The land of eternal spring. Oh, the UK. You talking about the UK? Don't know what season it is right now. The seasons are all messed up because of global warming. They are in the UK anyway. I remember like, as a kid back in the 80s, 90s, it was like, you know, winter, spring, autumn. No, that's not right. Winter, spring, summer, autumn. God, I'm on top form today. But now it's like you can get autumn in spring and spring in winter, and it's just a mess. Which, as an autistic person, is really unhelpful because I like to know what the days are going to be like. Give me predictable weather. I'm up against it because I live in the UK and it's notoriously unpredictable weather, despite what I've just said about the 4 seasons being more compartmentalized in the past. I mean, global warming has messed up the weather, um, but even back in the day, the weather was still unpredictable. And as an autistic person, I don't like that. Poor plants won't see what's coming with that hose gun. No, they won't. Oh, the Canaries, I know if there'll been a land of eternal spring. Oh, cool. It sounds like the land of eternal summer to me. Can't believe you missed 2 weeks of British summer in the 80s. Yeah. Did we have any summers in the 80s? Yeah. Anyway, so I'm just gonna make sure I catch up on the chat, which disappointingly for you guys has been mainly related to my Patreon story. So how am I going to change the subject into something more relatable and interesting and, dare I say, amusing? Oh, there's a comment there. No. So normally I'm struggling to keep up with the comments, but you guys have been very quiet. The pressure's on. Average temp. Kay, you're flying the flag for the team here. Average temp is 23 degrees all year round in the Canaries. Yeah, that's pretty warm, isn't it? Last weekend was wonderful, but this weekend has not been so good. Rained over the weekend. Helen, are you in the UK as well? Sorry if you've already told me that. Is it Lincolnshire? Anyway. Oh yeah, what am I doing? I'm doing that British thing of talking about the weather way too much. I never talk about the weather. Why would I do that? Real autistic small talk, the weather. Yeah, but we're not really doing it in the small talk. Well, I'm not. I'm getting fixated on temperature variables and predictability. Far more meaningful than the using weather as a small talk way into establishing rapport with someone. Not me. Talking about the facts. Um, you're in the UK, Ellen. Cool. Kerry, lovely Rainflower Farm. Non-political solidarity was very good. Are you talking about one of my really depressing poems? Cool. Thank you. If the conversation dries up, I might have to dive into the poetry. Sorry, guys, but I have to inflict that on you. If you're not going to pipe up, I'm going to have to dive into the archives and inflict some miserable or funny poetry or both. Um, Dominic, hello. There's me that would just input up everything related to Star Trek, Doctor Who, Stargate, and Star Wars 3. Yeah, I'm a real hypocrite with info dumping because if it's not a subject that I'm interested in, if I'm not interested in the subject, um, I I will find it painful to listen to. Sorry. It's kind of fine in a live stream because I can, take my time to consider what I'm going to say in response. If you do decide to info dump on a subject that I'm not particularly interested in, I've got time to assess how I'm going to react. But in a spoken conversation, when it's much faster, I'm more likely to kind of just zone out. Sorry. And I realized now that I know I'm autistic late in life that when I've spoken about something that I'm interested in, not realizing that I'm doing it at length, I've realized that people have done the same. The thing that I've just said that I would do, they've zoned out. Just for I don't know why I'm doing that. They don't roll their eyeballs up into their skull, but it it feels like that's what they were doing. It's like how rude. Um, but if you want to talk about any subject within reason, keep it clean. Um, carry on. I might learn something. One reason why I love doing live streams. I learn stuff because I'm autistic. I like learning facts. If it's about a subject that I'm not interested in, I'll probably still value the fact, at least in a small way, and I appreciate the fact that you took the time to share it. Agent Eight Horse, can you recommend any decent and fun autistic community chat groups? Not any Patreon members. Good groups, good for chaps. Yes, yeah, I think you suggested that I set up a Discord. Um, I can't really suggest any uh, community chat groups other than the ones that I already mentioned. Not that I'm on them, so I can't really recommend them because I'm not part of them. But I have heard Adult with Autism, aka Paul, has. I've heard that he has a Discord, and he's a great guy. So, and he's a chap. So have a look at that one. I think you have to go through Patreon. Oops, I've mentioned Patreon again. Sorry. And Mike at Autistic AF. Again, I'm not on his Discord, but I think it's quite popular, and I'm sure there are plenty of chaps there. So those would be the two. But um, yeah, I can see why you would want to be part of a community group chat for autistic people. Likewise, because I get a lot of reassurance from doing live streams, but the live streams I'm doing maybe one a week. So to have a Discord community chat group to be part of, obviously that's more likely to be much more frequent. So yeah, sorry I'm not being very helpful, but I do see the appeal of being part of a community chat. like this. Kate, I know some people love the rain, but I'm definitely not among them. Depends on the circumstances, really. If I'm indoors and just listening to it, watching it, then I'm okay. But if I'm in the middle of the rain, then with not an appropriate jacket, then I'm not too happy about it. Um, yeah, so lucky you don't live in the UK. Yeah, indeed. Not just because of the weather. Russell, hello. You're not late. You can do what you want, mate. Just that's up to you. I hope you're well in Hertfordshire, I believe. Um, let me just check on the chat. Much the same about info dumping, says Nick Flitwick. My son goes on about jazz music and my daughter about K-pop. I really try to listen, but it's so hard. Yeah. Jazz music. Well, music in general, I'm gonna probably make an effort to listen, but jazz music, I've never really got on with that. So I would find it hard. K-pop, Korean pop, I know nothing about it, and I would actually like to know more about it. No, not that I'm putting pressure on you to share here and now, but I would listen to that monologue from your daughter. Um, yeah, Autistic AF was good. So there we are. Agent X Force. Have a look at Mike's Patreon membership and get yourself on his Discord. Jim Rover, hello. Just tuning in mid-Monday, East Coast Canada. Lunch hour. Woohoo. East Coast. Yeah, I think you've told me before, but and again, I'm a geography nerd. Um, I'm guessing is that Nova Scotia? I don't know. I could easily go on Google right now, couldn't I? I hope you're well. Don't know. You finish your cow treats. I've invented something new for them. I call them Karasu Dango, and I'm sure they appreciate that name. Nice one. Lady, I can't talk about the weather on here. It's special subject, and there aren't enough characters. Oh yeah, I think you talked about that in a comment on one of my videos. Um, no, carry on. But if you feel that you can't restrain yourself and it would just be an endless essay, then maybe not. I'll leave that to you. Just another manic Monday, indeed. Best weather jazz, in my opinion, Hugh Massaculated Grazing in the Grass. Okay, got to write that down. Grazing in the Grass. Hugh, gosh, is there a unique name? I've not heard that one before. Nick Flickrich, she made a presentation about her favourite band to guide her to sumo. Yes, we're an autistic family. Yeah, why not? Sounds great. Buildings where I live were not constructed having rain in mind, so even being indoors is stressful. Water seeping in through the walls and ceilings. Oh dear. Well, any consolation, I live in a very, very old house, which really ought to have been designed for rain, and we've had all sorts of damp issues. That's another whinge for another day, I think. Damien, jet lag has hit so up at different hours of the day. Cool, where have you been, Damien? Um, I got it right, indeed, Nova Scotia, New Scotland, if you're nasty in Latin. Yeah, I did wonder whether it was New Scotland, because all those Scots emigrating 200, 300 years ago. I had to say my kids knit through jazz K-pop thought. Right, cool. The Bangles album was actually one of the first ones that I owned, not borrowed from my parents or brother. Nice. Just autistic brain, ADHD brain. I thought, oh, I'll do a live stream on Monday. Brain goes, Manic Monday. And so creative, not. Agent X Force. This morning I was out shopping in Cambridge. There were loads of Chinese tourists. I only stayed until lunchtime as it started getting too busy. Got some new clothes and some little suitcases. Cool. Um, yes, well, I can't say this without sounding like a silly person, but I studied at Cambridge and I have very fond memories. Um, I've been since I've been back to Cambridge since I graduated many years ago with my best friend who's also autistic, and I just could not believe how busy Cambridge was, particularly King's Parade. It was just way too stressful for me. Um, I went to see the Palestine uh, vigil encampment, and then you go down towards the Corn Exchange and go to the Eagle, where Watson and Crick discovered DNA. Apparently, although I believe there was a female scientist who just did not get the credit that she deserved. Um, so Watson and Crick in 1956 had a pint. Well, they each had a pint in the Eagle. I went, aha, we've discovered the secret to life. And that's where I discovered that a pint cost £6.70. And I was, like Watson and Crick, in shock, but not in happy shock. I was furious, in fact. So I hope you enjoyed that anecdote about Cambridge. I probably got plenty more. Lovely place, but way too busy, particularly during summer. Yeah, been to Cambridge. Lots of bikes. Yeah, that's one good thing about it. It's just beautiful. It really is. I stayed. Where did I stay? I stayed in Christ's College, where Sacha Baron Cohen studied in the early 90s, and it was great. If you think about going to Cambridge, um, instead of getting a hotel, uh, ask around at the Cambridge colleges and see if they're um, letting rooms. If you can book a room, because they effectively become hotels, or so at least some of them become hotels when it's not term time. So that would be my recommendation. So last time we stayed in Christ's College, right in the heart of Cambridge city centre, and you can't hear the busyness because the grounds go back so far. And you beautiful room, beautiful grounds, right in the middle of Cambridge, can't hear a thing. And then the last time my friend Alex and I went down to Cambridge, we stayed in St Catherine's College, which is just down the way from King's Parade, where it's stupidly busy. And again, beautiful grounds, beautiful room, can't hear very much. So that's my top tip for today. Music from Trinidad and Tobago, Soca Chunty Calypso Extempo. Nice. Write that down. Never heard three of those genres. Thank you, Kerry. Nice. Kay said my sister had a very intensive chip career phase that almost drove me crazy. I'm still under 1p and it's not for easy listening. Okay, I'll take your word for it. Hey Mark, how you doing? Good evening. Good afternoon. My wife helped me choose the clothes, can't add it myself. Also got a couple of cone bags for a trip to Krakow on Wednesday. Right now, really annoying because Kevin base to be really small. Krakow, wow. Clothes shopping. Yeah, let's have a moan about clothes shopping, shall we? I can't stand it. I'll tell you a funny story. It's not very funny. Um, well, I'll share it anyway. I was in Manchester, 6 weeks ago to meet up with my dad. He's from Scotland, so I said, let's meet up in the middle. Very disappointed in my geography because the middle where I am, between where I am and Inverness, where he is, my brain went Manchester. Took us 2 hours to get there. Took him and his wife like 6 hours. So it was an unfair travel time. Anyway, so we went to this shopping centre. What was it called? The Trafford Centre. The most non-autistic friendly place you could find. This massive shopping centre. and I had a bubble tea, which was a bit weird. I think I well, anyway, I got something all over my jacket. I don't know, ice cream? God knows what it was. But I looked down, it's like, oh, I tried to rub it off because, I'm incompetent. I can't coordinate my hands to my mouth. And I got this muck on my jacket. Goodness knows what it was. I was trying to rub it off. It wasn't happening. So I was like, oh, I've got to get a new jacket. So I just happened to be outside River Island. Honestly, it was right outside River Island where I discovered this stain, this immovable stain. And I walked in to River Island, straight ahead, 20 meters away. There was a black jacket, virtually identical to the one that I'd got muck all over. It was like 50 quid. Ugh, I don't want to spend 50 quid. But I don't want to think about this any more than I have to. So I just went, that'll do, straight to the till, paid for it, out the shop, must have been 90 seconds. And then my wife didn't even realise that I was wearing a different jacket. She's like, I cannot believe that in the 2 minutes since I last saw you, you've got a brand new jacket. You didn't even think about it. It's like, no, I just wanted to do the thing and then not do the thing anymore because it's clothes, it's boring. She's like, why you got a black jacket? You always wear black and blue. It's like, yes, because I want to hide. So I hope you enjoyed that story. Ian Curtis shirt. That's that's an interesting. I did put that on the website. Shall I be really indulgent and read a poem? Why not? You've cheered me up for my banking episode. If you weren't here at the start, I've got an issue with Patreon. I've got a Patreon account that I don't know anything about, and I'm paying money for it, and it's stressing me out. So doing this has been a wonderful distraction, and I'm going to read a poem, and then I'm going to catch up with the chat. This is all hugely indulgent, but this is the content that you're here for, isn't it? Maybe not. Okay, so I wrote a poem called Ian Curtis Shirt. I'm I'm hoping I can find it. Um, I don't know if you need me to explain who Ian Curtis was. I mean, of course, you could just Google him. Don't know why this website's not letting me find my own poem. Oh, I know. I've got to go through the months. Bear with me, everyone. Oh, it's not going to let me. I don't know where it was then. How did you find it? I can't even find it. I'm going to have to go in my Word document. This is very boring for you to listen to. I do apologise. But I'm going to have to check my own website out later. Okay, I've got the Word document. So this kind of conveys my dislike of shopping straight from the get-go. So here goes. Ian Curtis shirt. It's the annual trip to Top Man today, or is it once every 2 years? I keep my clothes for so long, there's nothing left for the moths to eat. I'm loyal to my clothes. I cling on to them as they cling on to me. Though here I am on the dreaded trip to replace what I loved. And then I see it, the maroon shirt. I have never worn maroon in my life. Buying it feels like a betrayal of all the white and blue shirts that have served me so well. It feels like a double betrayal as now this novel red is my favourite. Office friendly shades of sky and cloud are out. Now it's the season, the year of dark blood. My heart's on both sleeves. I hope you enjoyed that. So I wrote a poem about a shirt. But generally speaking, I do not want to think about clothes at all. Just had a thought. Clothes, Scissor Sisters gig last night. Some of the clothes that Jake Shears was wearing last night. By the end of it, he was just wearing his pants. That's underwear in the UK, not wearing his trousers. You're probably thinking if you're in the States, yeah, why wouldn't he be wearing his pants? I should hope so. If he's not wearing his pants, he'd be naked. No, I'm not talking about trousers. I'm talking about underwear. Kecks. Yeah, kecks. That's a northern word. Is it? Kecks? Anyway, underwear. Yeah, some very creative clothing. Um, Google says I'm 35 minutes from Cambridge. Yeah, you're very near to Cambridge, Russell would have thought, down in Hertfordshire. What exactly is bubble tea? I may be behind the times. Mark, look, I've had a bubble tea. I still don't know what it is, truly. Um, so my son in the Trafford Centre in Manchester wanted to get a bubble tea, and everyone else at that point had gone to their various shops, and I was like, okay, I'll have a bubble tea now. I've never had one in my life. Um, and I was sipping it. I was like, oh, now I've got something in my throat, and it was a bubble. So it's meant to have like these, but it clues in the title, bubble tea, bubbles in the tea. But I didn't realise that you'd actually be swallowing the bubbles. They're like little pearls. I did not like that texture. And I'm autistic. I don't like unpredictable textures in food or drink. So yeah, it's like bubble in your tea, but I still don't know why the bubbles are there in the first place because the tea or the creamy milkshake thing that I had would have been much better in my view without the bubbles, just the ingredients. So why did they have to spoil it with bubbles that felt like pearls going down my throat? Ugh. So yeah, I'm not an advocate for bubble tea. Good shopping, thanks, Danelle. Black does work with everything, yeah. Yeah, it does. Funerals, um, just hiding really, I find. I'm a creature of the night. Um, Bubble tea is a popular Taiwanese drink made with tea, milk, sweetener ice, and the signature chewy bubbles or tapioca pearls. I did not know that. Thank you. This is the content that I'm here for. Thank you, Russell. I did not like it, as I've just said. My ADHD loves clothes shopping, especially when I go across the pond, but my autism hates wearing anything but jeans and t-shirts. Yeah, interesting. Um, yeah, clothes shopping. I remember in Cambridge back in the day, in the oh, knocked my guitar over, in the early 2000s, there was sort of a vintage clothes fair by the Corn Exchange. It might even still be there. And I had all these flares and sort of leather jackets, um, music posters, yeah, basically a hipster sort of cave, really. And I've never been cool in my life, and I never will be. But in the early 2000s, I thought that I was kind of obliged to take an interest in certain things because I'm at university and I was playing along with that sort of stereotypical student thing of, being interested in clothes and music, bands, wanting to be in a band. And to be honest, I was just passing the time because I didn't go to lectures as much as I should have done anyway. So I just fart around Cambridge basically, just waft around in my own daydream, and I ended up in this hipster cave, as I call it. And I did show an interest in clothes, oh, waistcoats and stuff. Well, why do I care about waistcoats? But the only time I've ever worn a waistcoat is at a wedding. Um, Sorry, little tassel just made an appearance there. That's a bit like Scissor Sisters gig, so I can't say it's Scissor Sisters. Very rude. Very rude. Like, children were there as well. My children were there. These massive tits on screen, like the size of this room. Imagine a tit the size of the room that you're in. Actually, don't. If you are going to imagine it, just keep it up there and don't articulate. It's a massive, massive bubble, I suppose. It's fun living inside my brain at times, and sometimes it's just plain embarrassing. So yeah, I went to this clothes thing in Cambridge, and can't remember what I bought. Probably nothing because I thought, oh, that's not black. Um, Hi, Isabella. Isabella's in Sweden, I'm assuming still. Lily, because my attention focus differs, I won't buy anything the day I see it. I go home, calm down, and if I still want it the next day, I go back. This has saved me a fortune. Yeah, I like that, but I just get so irritable in the shop. The idea of going back to the shop just fills me with even more dread. So I just get it done, buy the thing, and leave. But yeah, I like the considered approach, even though I can't follow it myself. The top man's a blast from the past. Who remembers seeing a Mr. Byright? Don't know that one. Burton's Chelsea girl. Definitely CNA. Definitely Burton's. Oh yes, late 90s, early 2000s. That's my era. Um, yeah. I remember being dragged around CNA in Basingstoke by my mum to buy school shirts and the like. That was even worse. I had no independence then. It was just, right, you will be dragged around this shop that you don't want to be in, you undiagnosed autistic child. And my son, also undiagnosed autistic, absolutely detests clothes shopping. Just you can see the pain in his face at the idea of going clothes shopping. It's like I do not want to do that thing. If not interested in it, it's painful to him. I can see it. I'm like, I'm with you. You're of me. So I get it. Um, did the show live up to your expectations? Scissor Sisters was excellent. It really was good. Uh, I saw them with my wife 15 years ago, also in Birmingham, and they were even better. They had one of the original members of the band, animatronic, chose not to be on tour this time round. So I did wonder whether it would be as good, but they got two female singers, dancers, entertainers to replace animatronic, and they were really, really funny, and they could sing and dance, and they just elevated it. So, and the set design, Jake Shears hasn't aged a day in, well, 21 years since the debut album came out. So it was just a brilliant gig. Yeah, check him out. Well, thanks. Thanks. I went all London and or Essex. Thanks. Um, I don't think I'll be partaking in bubble tea anytime soon. No, I'd recommend you steer clear. Lizzie's here. Hello, just popping in briefly as I'm knackered. I hope you're well, although you kind of told me how well you are because you're knackered. Thank you for popping in, and I've probably missed you already because I'm so behind on the chat as usual. The bubbles are gelatinous tapioca balls. Balls? Why did I read it like that? Balls. Balls. Bawlls. Um, yeah, I'm not enthused about them any more than I was 15 minutes ago. Ugh. Hi, Scott in Minnesota. How are you? Um, also known as bob are made from tapioca starch or flour, no chewy, starchy substance. It's just not getting any better. But thank you for the information. See, have the information, realize that something is disgusting, don't have the thing anymore. That's, autistic clarity. I've got the information from my helpful autistic community. I'm not going to do that thing anymore. Yeah. Texture foods. I've been offered money to try and eat a whole olive. I was against olives for the first 37 years of my life, and I'm a convert. I think olives are great, but not the ones with stones in it. Yeah, I can't be bothered to eat around the stone. I just want to have a stoneless olive, thank you. I don't want to fight my food, you know. Ooh, ooh, ooh. It's meant to be a pleasurable experience, not combat. Um, Lizzie saying hello to everyone, and too right. Um, I, Kate, I do like slimy textures in food. I I can't agree with that one. I don't like the word slimy for a start. It sounds slimy. Um, Let me just catch up. Um, you're talking about how stressful shopping is. I'm dying here, mate. One bus drive. You're dying in a good way. Dying of laughter, I hope, not dying of exasperation at my monotonous whinging about clothes shopping. Uh, Lizzie said they always needed an hour or two. Is that what you meant? A minute or two before clothes shopping. Um, yeah, I mean, in Manchester, I just didn't have the time. Well, I did have the time, but normally it's like, oh, I have to go and buy clothes today. But on this occasion, when I just caused a mess on myself somehow, I I'd not planned to go clothes shopping, so I just had to respond to my own inability to transport food to my mouth, and I had to deal with that in the moment. And yeah, it worked out okay. But normally, I would try and anticipate clothes shopping and other boring activities. The bus is bursting at the seams. Oh dear, doesn't sound good. Old CNA shop is a next shop now. That makes a lot of sense. Um, I always needed a pint or two for clothes shopping. Maybe that's the way forward. Yeah, if you're going to do something that you don't want to do, just you know, take the edge off. Have a pint. Generally, got a British standard piece of advice I'd suggest. There's that random brain Simon Pegg meme when he's down at the Winchester. So have a pint, it'll all be right in the morning. Yeah. Russell, I hated being dragged around clothes shops when I was little. They always seemed really stuffy and made me feel ill. Yep. CNA. Well, it wasn't stuffy though. The one in Basingstoke was huge. It's like a football stadium of tat. Like be dragged around for. And it wasn't like there was a prize at the end. Like I was gonna. Well, it wouldn't have been a Buzz Lightyear costume or something like that, or Power Rangers, because that was actually too recent. What would it have been? A He-Man costume. It wasn't that that was the prize, the carrot at the end of the stick. If I would only shut up for 2 hours, it was in pursuit of a white school shirt. So from the get-go, I'm not invested in this because I don't want a white school shirt. So I don't want to be in the shopping trip. I don't want to. I just want to be at home or you know be at the park. So yeah, maybe that's why I don't like clothes shopping so much because of the trauma of being dragged around CNA, which is not a sentence I thought I'd say out loud today. First world problems, trauma at CNA. Crikey. I like fashion, but prefer second-hand clothes shops. Modern clothes shops are confusing kaleidoscopes with clothes on different levels, no space, and often loud music. Yep. See, my ideal clothes shop would just be like black jackets on one side, very dark grey jackets on the other side, and slightly less grey than the dark grey jackets at the back. No music, no smiling, because it's a clothes shop, so inherently miserable place. And then that's it. Three colours. That'd be it. Bliss. Um, right, let me catch up. Yeah, that show was excellent. Go and see Scissor Sisters. It was interesting because they said Jake Shear said how comparatively unpopular they are in the States where they're from. Um, but they are still huge in the UK. and they were massive in 2004. They had the biggest selling album of 2004 in the UK. Sold millions, literally millions. That's what I hated being dragged around clothes shops when I was little. I've already read that. I'm going mad. Um, Most of your poems ended up in the blog section of your site and not in the writing section. That's why you probably couldn't find it. Yeah, I was looking through my own blog, and for whatever reason, I can't find older entries beyond a certain point. I don't know why. Well, maybe it's here now. Um, oh, I think I've sussed it out. God, I'm thick. Yeah, I've worked it out now. Ian, found it. Found it. Yeah, thank you. Got there in the end. Um, yeah, more poetry if you want. If there's a massive demand for the spoken word in addition to the spoken word that I'm already sharing now, then let me know and I will facilitate. Um, I can't handle beer, says Kay, too bitter, so I have to enjoy shopping as it is. Yeah. I've not always, but sometimes I've thought, oh, it'd be fun to go to the cinema after a sneaky pint. Why do I think that would be a fun thing? I think mainly because I'd struggle to follow the plots in films, but I do like watching films, and I also like being quite tiddly. So yeah, two fun things at once. There was a cafe area at the back of Littlewoods where everyone seemed to be smoking. This was the 1970s. Everyone smoked everywhere. Everyone smoked everywhere in the 80s as well. It was terrible. Olives are super nice, but have a very peculiar taste. When I eat them, I do not mix them with anything else. Segregate your olives from the rest of your food. It's a very strong flavour, I give you that. I shop almost entirely online now, including clothes. I have to order, what said, I have to order lager there. I have to order larger, but I prefer loose clothes anyway. Yeah, so I've got this hoodie, as I've showed off before, at second-hand shopping Nottingham, and it's too big for me, and that's the way I like it. Um, Okay, this live stream is actually a lifeline. Well, it's very kind of you to say, but if I remember correctly, you're in the Canary Islands, so really you've got lots going on in the Canary Islands that surely are very desirable things to have or see or experience, and yet this random pasty-faced, miserable middle-aged guy in the UK is creating some sort of lifeline by just chatting nonsense. I'll take the praise, but I'd rather be where you are in the Canary Islands. I also can't eat fresh peaches. The skin texture revolts me. Oh, peaches, no way. Don't want to touch that. I'm with you there, Mark. Um, all right, here's a virtual hug. Hold on, this will pack. What's Kitty said? I've missed it. I do apologise, Kitty. Um, because I'm all over with the chat as usual. What's going on? I want to chat my nonsense and stay in tune with what's being said. Um, Agent Expert, I don't know. If I was to set up a casual, fun Discord group for autistic ADHD peeps for chats, just to get the stuff you chest, would anyone here be? I'd be very interested in joining Agent X Force. Make it your mission if you want. I'm up for that. Nectarines are like an unfurry peach, but I can never get them when they are nice to eat. They always seem too hard. I was going to say I feel your pain, but I don't eat nectarines, so I can't identify with that. Sometimes I just need to tell some of my autism dramas, people I know, including my wife, just to not get it. Yeah, yeah, indeed. Clothes shopping, fake Patreon accounts, just what people would consider to be fairly inconsequential things to deal with in life completely throw me and occupy my mind and disable me, I guess. Is autism a disability? Discuss. Um, I fixate on small things like I did for 20 minutes at the start of this live stream, and it can take up a whole day, it can take up a whole week, it can take up a lot longer than that. And people, well, a lot of people won't be able to understand why I would do that, like fixate on something, catastrophize, get anxious about these inconsequential things. But I want things to be right all the time, and it frustrates me when things aren't resolved. So Russell, I'm looking at your name there. Agent X Force, I get it, and I get the fact that most people don't get it. Um, Nectarines are a bit too tart for me. I love apricots though. That's it. Let's bring it back to the fruit. So we talked about weather, fruit. So I'm doing a plenary now. I'm a failed teacher, so I have to sort of treat you like a classroom. So what have we learnt so far, children? Um, my hatred of the modern world, um, fruit, and clothes shopping. Damsons are nice. My grandma had a damson tree in her garden. What a lovely thing to share. They're a bit smaller and nicer than a plum. Cool. Um, Having a garden sounds so nice. I had a garden once, but now it's become a chicken run. It's just chicken muck everywhere. So don't really go out in the garden now. It's just, yeah, it's the toilet for chickens. Um, Karen, last time I was in the cinema, I lost myself and my family. I had a meltdown. Oh dear. Yeah. Oh, I hate it. Like losing people. Like, and if you've not got your phone on you, like, back in the old days when everything was sepia and people rode penny farthings, the 80s, 90s, if you lost someone, you didn't have 10p for the phone machine, then that was really stressful. Like, I don't know what to do. Jim River had hard no to the bubble tea slime balls, but do love a whole intense Kalamata olive with pit retains the on tree vada fresh. Okay, fair enough. Maybe I should reassess my appreciation or otherwise of olives. Mark, you're off right off to gym. Chat soon. Have fun. Good to see you, mate. And it looks like I've caught up with the chat. So I'm just going to check I've not missed anything important. God, we're an hour in. What fun. Um, Let me just skim through, because otherwise I might have to, just to pass the time, might have to inflict a poem on you, another one. You wouldn't want that, would you? Russell, we had a nice little garden, but it's now full of wheelie bins. The council just introduced another one last week. Is that a food waste bin, Russell? Because it's been mandated by the government to introduce food waste collections. I'm here all night if you want interesting knowledge like that. Kerry, in Trinidad, there's a fruit called pomicite. Delicious fruit, but spiky seed. A hassle to eat. Yeah, I don't. Life is a hassle enough without food being a hassle, surely. Just want to eat the thing and do something more interesting than eating. Agent X was, I'll put a Discord on my list of things. Once it's up, I'll announce it here first. Cool. Well, I can always flag it up on my community page on my YouTube channel. Just a thought. If you don't want to do it, that's fine. Anything, if anyone's got any public notices they want sharing, then there we are. My minuscule YouTube channel has a community page, and I will share for what it's worth. With food waste bin, sometimes get a new one to separate paper and card from the tins and plastic. Oh, cool. Hertfordshire Council is ahead of the game. A pain to eat in spite of lovely flavour. There we are. Take the rough with the smooth. So, if only to buy time, I think I'll read another poem because I'm an indulgent bore. Why not? Um, we've talked about slimy things. I think I might read a poem I wrote called Slimer. Um, and disclaimer, it's not about me. It's about a fictional character. Okay, you ready for this? It's an exclusive. Here goes. So this poem is called Slimer. As I give up pretending to pretend to work, I watch my recently departed soul make a mockery of office protocol. There it goes, slaloming between computers like Slimer in Ghostbusters, whooshing up walls and across the ceiling. I wince as it whooshes past Nathan's hands as he lifts his sandwich to his face. I want to tell Stephanie that there is actually a breeze indoors. Actually, why do I care? Let my soul do its worst. Interrupt someone's concentration as they manipulate a spreadsheet. Cause a pile of post-it notes to tumble. Make the photocopier suddenly work. There's no chance of me suddenly working. Not while my soul is on a gentle rampage, like a toddler in a soft play centre. Me watching like a bemused but proud parent. There we are. Hope you enjoyed that. Exclusive poetry there. And I've returned to the chat in the hope that people will share stunning facts or revelations. And I love guavas. I like eating the seedy part inside. So, with all due respect, Kerry, I think we've got to elevate the game somewhat. Otherwise, I'm going to dry up, he says, as his throat dries up. And I've got a video to post. I've done my Q&A. So thank you again to everyone who's submitted questions for me to answer. So yeah, hopefully post another video late tomorrow. And yeah, I've got to finish editing that. That'll be fun. And then think of another video to make. It just goes on. Endless cycle. Hi, Autistic Margot. How are you? Kay is off the bus. Wow. Congratulations, you're off the bus in the Canary Islands. Thank you, Lily. I like that. Flipping photocopiers. Only have to walk past and they yeah. A non-corporeal entity in a corporate world. Nice, Jim. See, I should have put that in the poem. As there's still time. I've not published the poem. So yeah. Oh well. Poetry, live streams, YouTube videos, passing the time, keeping my brain occupied. In fact, I mentioned this tendency in the Q&A. In fact, you could help me out because I'm trying to think of a good title for this video. My first title was the really boring, can't write, Q&A. That was my first idea for the title of the video. And I thought no one's going to click on that. It's like Q&A. Oof, how interesting. Next video, please. So I thought artists in the spotlight. Well, maybe it should be artists under spotlight. And I've seen Mike at Autistic AF do a poll, like survey says, during the live stream, but I haven't got the skills to do that. So if you like any of the three suggested titles, let me know Well, let me know which is your favourite, or let me know a better one, and I'll steal it. Margot, my pleasure. Um, yeah, poetry. So here's a boast. I'm going to be. I'm in the I'm in a poetry final for. There's three people, and we're going to read. We've submitted the poem. We submitted an application form, and I got interviewed a couple of days ago. And I'm going to perform a poem which I shared in my last live stream about my daughter. And yeah, I might take on yet another responsibility, because the role that is up for grabs is it's a literary champion role. So it's a title. Um, it's not like I'm getting a knighthood or anything. Or I've, I don't know, won a competition as such. It's it's a platform to share more poetry. So yeah, I'm going to be one of three people aiming to gain that title and gain that bigger platform to share poetry. So I will let you know how that goes. I will find out presumably on Friday night, on the 30th of May. Um, I'm starting to think, what have I got myself in for? What if I win? Might have to sacrifice YouTube time and more poetry, less YouTube. But I'll cross that bridge if I get to it. I doubt very much I'll be chosen. It's just good to, it's nice to be considered, and it's a poetry gig. So yeah, looking forward to that. Arlene's here. How are you doing, Arlene? Artist on the spectrum. Um, I arrived to hear about the poetry final. Yeah, just a humble brag. Although, do humble brags really exist? Because they're not very humble, are they? It's just it's an oxymoron, isn't it? It's a contradiction in terms. A humble brag. It's just a way for the person bragging to make them out to be a less boastful person. So yeah, yes. Competitive art is a weird concept to me. Like how do you judge whether someone's a better poet or a better musician than another person? Although having said that, Rage Against the Machine versus Daphne and Celeste. Rage Against the Machine are objectively better, aren't they? Yeah, that's just a fact, isn't it? So yeah, I'm contradicting myself now. Um, have I got a spotlight though? No. Well, for the thumbnail, I haven't used the spotlight in the video that I've already recorded. So yeah, starting to doubt whether the spotlight is something I should include in the title. Autist under the spotlight, bring your own spotlight. Yeah, so I'm not dissing your suggestion. I'm just thinking about the spotlight thing. If I ever read anything from V.S. Naipaul, I recommend starting with Miguel Street. I haven't, sadly, and I'm pretty sure V.S. Naipaul was on the syllabus when I went to Cambridge University. And I can't say Cambridge University without doing it in silly fashion. I didn't read very much at Cambridge because I was an idle, autistic loner, more interested in wandering around the streets of Cambridge, um, looking for a cheap pint and just pretending to be clever without actually doing anything to deserve the title of Mr. Clever. I just wander around Cambridge having thoughts like the ones that I'm inflicting upon you now and go, oh, I really ought to read some V.S. Naipaul because I'm pretty sure I've got an essay to write in a month's time and I should probably read the book. That might help. Um, no, no. I'll just, like I did on one occasion, don't tell anyone, shamefully borrow someone else's essay and sort of chisel it into my own essay. And yeah, I did that once. I made someone's essay go from a third to a first. Get me, plagiarizer. That's a shameful admission, but I was lazy and I find reading hard. And I didn't realize I didn't know I was autistic ADHD at the time. And yeah, VS Naipaul was probably on the syllabus and I just didn't get round to it. Sorry. Um, Northanger Abbey by Jane Austen was on the syllabus. Did I read the full book? No. I was meant to read Pamela by Samuel Richardson. I bought the book the day before a seminar, but this made me look good because no one else had read the book, and I was the only one to have the book, which was freshly bought. I probably hadn't even lifted the front cover because that was that lazy. It's like I've bought the book, I'll just place it in front of me. And the lecturer, it was the most excruciating 2 hours going, so what do you think about this 18th century novel? And I'll just look at the back of the book and go, is it 18th century? Yeah, it's 18th century. Yeah. So who's it by? And I think I was asked a question by my lecturer about a book that I'd not read, and I based my answer entirely on the blurb. And worse than that, in my exams in my second year at Cambridge, I had to answer a question on William Wordsworth's The Prelude. I can't say the word. The Prelude. And I hadn't read that. Hadn't read a line. And at 6 in the morning, I remember just looking at some synopsis. And I just remembered this synopsis and I dumped that synopsis 3 hours later on my exam paper. Absolutely shameful. But, in that year at Cambridge, in my second year, I was more interested in music and getting drunk. I had a wicked time. I recorded an album. It was brilliant fun. So when I think about Cambridge, I don't think about V.S. Naipaul or Jane Austen or, you know, or other people who wrote things. Oh yeah, books. Um, I don't think about that, about university, about Cambridge of all places. I think about recording The Hit Factory by Undertow in my mate Alex's room. Fun times. I think about them a lot because that's what I want to do every day of my life. It's what I did when I was 20. Is just get up at silly o'clock, like 11 in the morning if I'm lucky, go across the road, buy a baguette, go to my mate's house, talk about Hawkwind or some other psychedelic bands that Alex was interested in. Um, him tell me what to do because he's bossy, but it was cool because I was just being silly, singing in my worst falsetto about some horrific murder tale that Alex had written. I'm not really selling it, am I? We had the best time, and then I was like, "Oh right, 3 in the afternoon, get the Mount Gay rum out, and let's get sloshed." It's like, haven't you got a VS Naipaul essay to write? It'll be done. We got to record the next album now. Fun times. Um, so yeah, I spent. Sorry, Amanda. Hello. We are well, hopefully. I'm just chatting nonsense as usual. Helen, thank you. Spotlight one you voted for. That's helpful. Thank you for that. Arlene, I spent much of my uni time trying to understand my schedule and finding my classrooms. Yeah, I couldn't tie my shoelace. I still can't. I was hopeless. Um, and an ADHD as well. And I think I might have shared this before. I'll share it again. So at the end of my first year at university, I was meant to hand in a form to state whether I wanted to stay in halls of residence for another year for the second year. Because in your first year you get priority because you're brand new. It's all intimidating, and one way of helping students overcome how intimidating and unsettling a new place might be is to give you um, a guarantee of a room on campus. That's probably standard, I don't know. But you have, and then if you want to stay there for your second year, you have to, well, I suppose it's a competitive process. You have to get your form in, and then they have to figure out whether you can have a room or not. Otherwise, you have to stay in other accommodation. I did not fill in my form because I put it off and I put it off, and then the deadline had passed, and then I panicked, and I was like, "Where am I going to live in my second year? Where am I going to live?" So I literally went. This is how sad I was, how stupid I was, knocking on doors in the halls of residence that I was you know, still in at the time, like my last week, and I need somewhere to live, like a tramp. Not, I shouldn't use that word. A homeless person. Um, but I was disgusting. I mean, to be fair, I was disgusting. And knocking on doors like, I need somewhere to live, literally begging. And then a girl took pity on me, said, "Well, actually, well, we need someone. We don't need someone. We don't need you, but we're looking for somewhere to live in our second year, and we could look." I don't know. She said need. She said we could look for a four-bedroom house instead of three-bedroom. And I was like, yes, please, anything. Um, and yeah, I was the fourth person in the smallest room because I couldn't claim any right to having a nice room because I was an optional begging person. And anyway, one of the three people, there's three girls, three women, and a man. Sad case. And yeah, that's how I met my wife. ADHD has its upsides. If I'd handed in the form, I wouldn't have met my wife. Don't know what the moral of that tale is, but I hope the journey was fun. Um, Trinidad author that may have heard UK because he was knighted in Britain in the Nobel Prize in 2001. Yeah, yeah, I've heard of Nightpool. Not read anything that he's written. Um, North Abbey because I'm behind in the chat because I went off on one. Sorry about that. Persuasion are two of my favourite Jane Austen novels. Good for you, Kay. You've actually read a Jane Austen novel. I haven't, despite doing an English degree at Cambridge. I'm currently in college, and at 35, it's harder to grasp concepts than when I was younger. Yeah, I think that's universal, sadly. Age. We're getting old. The synapses become further apart. So I'm not making you feel any better, am I? To be honest, I had to withdraw multiple times because of how burnt out I've been. Yeah, I get that. I get that. But, fair play for sticking at it. The poem Cooley's Son, Toilet Attendant Writes Home by David. Oh, right. Cool. I'm writing this down. Will I read it? If it's a poem, I'm much more likely to read it because it's short and I have the attention span of a 3-year-old. So I wonder I can do this without, messing about with. I'm looking at my bike now. Why'd I mess about with my bike? I'm the most impractical person in the world. But you know what I'm trying to say. So I wonder I can sustain a live stream given my short attention span. For English at school, we were supposed to read The Hobbit and write a book review. I didn't read it. My sister read it, so I can't read. I can't speak. My sister had read it, so I asked her to tell me about it and wrote the review based on that. That's an A-star for ingenuity. Well done, Russell. Working smarter, not harder. Yeah, nice. I went back to Unit 36 to do an MD and write my PhD. It was quite an experience. Well done. Yes, I did a master's 2021, 2023. Yeah, I did a master's. Did I read did I read any books? It was poetry, so I chose. I read excerpts of books. Yeah, it was good for me. It was a lot of bite-sized reading. We were supposed to read The Day of the Triffids. I didn't read that either. I wrote the review based on the TV series that's actually just aired. Russell, again, well done. I mean, these days, the university lecturers are finding it so hard to get students to read books because of AI. I think I've gone on this rant before. Um, Students are complaining about having to read, even though they've signed up to do English literature courses. I am in no place to judge. You know this because I've just told you what a useless student I was. But what I'm trying to say is it's a lot easier for students to effectively opt out of making meaningful effort because of AI and and social media and YouTube, and there's so many more distractions than there were, I'd say, than 20 years ago when I did my undergraduate degree. So being a lecturer is hard because students are increasingly disinclined to read or write their own essays and just put it through Chat GPT or CPT, whatever it is, and churn out an essay. Pointless. And yet myself and Russell have shared some sort of trade secrets. So, I've been a hypocrite as usual. Uh, Let me catch up. It's a nice, happy ending to your Cambridge story. Yeah, yeah. I was thinking about getting the picture down. That'd be super indulgent, wouldn't it? Picture. You know what? I will. It's on my mind. I'm going to do it. I'm going to probably break something. But you're my homies, so bear with. Oh, gonna break something. Oh yeah. Right. Are you ready for this? So probably ought to conceal names. Can't really see that, can you? Oh, it's too much reflection. I've not thought this through because it was just a spontaneous thought. Right. Can you see that? And that's my wife, and that's me. But we didn't know each other then, so just fluke that we got initials. A surname initial is close together in the alphabet. It was meant to be. So that was fun. And talking to my wife, she's probably going to knock on the door any moment while the guitar falls down and say, "Why have you removed the picture from the wall? It's meant to be there." A harmonious marriage. But that guitar's going to do my head in. I don't want to play the guitar. I've got all the props today. Is it even in tune? There we are, that's all you get. Oh, and what I've accidentally done there, I've concealed the picture that I've just shown you behind the guitar on the sofa. So I might get away with the picture not being on the wall if my wife rudely interrupts this vitally important live stream. Um, this is all horribly indulgent, but that's what live streams are, aren't they? Well, they are for me. I just make it up. You watch me lose my mind. We go and do more important things afterwards. That's fine. Um, Let me catch up. Amanda, I also noticed the difference between going back to school in my 40s. Yeah, it is hard. Yeah, I was in my late 30s, early 40s. Um, but I wanted to do it. It was a challenge. It was ADHD. I must do something productive. Um, I read Pride and Prejudice. I prefer the importance of being. You know what? I did read The Importance of Being Earnest. I did read that at Cambridge, and I really enjoyed it. But it was shorter, you know? It was a play. I could just about stretch to reading plays, or some plays. I mean, who's that famous guy from the county next to the one I'm in now? Oh yeah, William Shakespeare. I couldn't get on with that guy. Overrated. Let the battle commence. So roll up your sleeves and defend Willow Shakespeare, and I will try and bat away your well-informed opinions with my stupid ignorance. Um, Happy birthday to your husband, Amanda. There we are. That was came across as horribly insincere. Wasn't meant to be. You've read them all. Okay, well done. I had to be I'm behind because I've just gone off one. I had to be a Pride and Prejudice graphic designer, but I had to read the book to grasp the convey message to match the design. Yeah, well, fair play, graphic design project. That's cool. But yeah, probably helpful to read the book. He says, being a hypocrite again. Kerry, the only reason I've read so much is because I read so much is because I passively listen to audiobooks. Otherwise, at this point in my life, my mush brain would not make it through any Dickens novels. Yeah, I've tried an audiobook and I still, again, brain's just too distracted, probably, thinking about autism or YouTube channel, just really, really struggled. Well, that one book that I tried, I just couldn't get on with it, but fair play to you. Chat GPT has been extremely helpful. I'm in a business writing class right now and it's dealing with some communication issues. Yeah, I'm not knocking, believe it or not, I'm not knocking AI completely. I have used it, I've been advised to use it for writing my CV, and it doesn't write my CV for me because it's generic. It's a starting point. I found AI. You need to chisel it into what you want it to be. Um, but to copy and paste entirely, or 95% of what Chat GPT churns out, that's not good. But yeah, I'm sure it's got loads of helpful aspects to it. I read the book of the film Poltergeist. It was a lot more scary and graphic than the film, so it was quite a gripping read. Fair play. Oh, I did read a book not too long ago. It was an American horror author. Oh, I've forgotten her name. She lived in Vermont. Was it Shelley Jackson? Have I just made that name up? Um, I think I have. Shelley Jackson is an American writer and artist, but not the one I'm thinking of. Oh, it's going to bug me now. Um, what's her name? Shirley Jackson. I wasn't too far away. Shirley Jackson. And what was the book that I read? The House on Haunted Hill or something? The Haunting of Hill House. There we are. Finally. Shirley Jackson, The Haunting of Hill House. Not the sort of book that I would normally read, because I don't normally read books. But I did read this one about 4 years ago, and it's great. It was really frightening. Um, yeah, check it out. Um, right, sorry, I'm way behind. Assuming you were the one who proposed, how did you propose? Right, get this. How did I propose to my dear wife? No one says that, my dear wife. You have to be 80 years old to say that, don't you? My dear wife. Um, right, so I had intended to propose in a restaurant, but as the night went on, I became more mortified by the idea of showing my affection so publicly. So I bailed, but I thought, well, I've got to propose at some point. So I proposed in a taxi. How classy is that? Yeah, not great. Not proud of it, but makes a lot of sense now that I know I'm autistic because, and it was a private moment albeit there was a taxi driver there. I'm sure he wasn't listening. Yes, there's one person there. He was a witness, an impromptu witness, and that was better than 50 or 100 people in a restaurant. I don't know how people can do that sort of public thing, you know? What it's a private thing. You're trying to get, you know, you're proposing for clicks. I'm really horribly cynical about public displays of private emotions like that, which is why I messed up or one reason why I messed up my wedding speech, which I'll talk about in the next video. So yeah, I proposed in a taxi. It was just not good. But she said yes. So yeah, through gritted teeth. Right. Yes, I will, but we're in a taxi. Could have made more effort. It's like, yeah, but that wasn't my original plan, but I bailed because I was too scared by all the people looking. That's why I wear black. So they want people to say, oh, look at that autistic person. Not that that's what people routinely do, but that's the way I feel. Like, you know, decades of trauma and being sidelined. I'm like, I don't want that. I don't want to attract any unwanted attention. I just want to go through and get back home and do a stupid live stream. Not stupid, because you're not stupid. There's just me being stupid. And yeah, so I don't want people to watch and point and go, "What are you doing?" This is cool though, because this is safe autistic space. I hesitate to use ChatGPT for information about books. I was looking for a book title based summary provided, and the titles it gave me did not match at all. Yeah, I've noticed with Google, like I've just done with Shirley Jackson or Shelley Jackson, you type in a name and then you get AI results at the top of Google. Is that just me? I don't know. Right, hang on. Does your wife give you any allowances for being autistic? Mine doesn't. I'm sure she does. What allowances? Why is that? That's like the definition of a marriage, isn't it? It's like on a daily basis, like trying to meet in the middle. Otherwise, it's not going to be successful. It's not going to. You're not going to sustain a marriage. Surely, you're constantly giving each other allowances, space, respect. Or am I just being high and mighty about marriage? I mean, here's one of the insignificant things that become significant in my autistic brain. So, I bought a phone last year, new phone contract, and probably because I'm gullible, I was convinced to have a tablet. I've got it behind the computer actually. Well, I'm a man of props today. Tablet came with the phone. Now, I only just found out that this stopped working a month later. It's 10 months since I bought the phone and this, but within a month, it stopped working. Got my daughter's stickers on the back. Now, trying to get my daughter to find this and the cable took some time and it stressed me out because I'm paying for something that doesn't work. And my family were like, why are you getting so stressed? And the allowance would have been to just accept that that type of thing does get me very stressed. But it was cool that 2 hours later, you know, it's you know, it's a two-way street, and I feel stupid talking about it now, but you know, I'm just being upfront as I usually am, always am on these live streams in my videos. And if it was that intolerable, that type of behavior from me, if it was that intolerable, then well, my marriage wouldn't have lasted 17 years, put it that way. So, so we're constantly trying to meet in the middle. Surely that's how marriages work, but I know. But I didn't mean to invalidate what you were saying, Agent X-Force. Not at all. I do hear what you're saying. Um, well, I'd recommend Is Shakespeare Dead by Mark Twain, but you wouldn't read it. I might if it was short and it was written in big letters. But I hope students remember how to read and write from their school days. You would hope so, but I think it's becoming harder. Um, okay, but basically, Mark Twain didn't believe Shakespeare was a real person, but rather a pen name. I didn't know that. Pretty sure Shakespeare was real. Uh, I was 25 years old and someone had to tell me Mark Twain was not Shania Twain's father. Well, just to squeeze in a very bad joke, but your ignorance at that point in life does not impress me much. But, you've since been corrected. Uh, Taxi, but yes, but it makes total sense with the autism. Yeah, it does now. Um, um, Baseball game with a ring pop. What's a ring pop? Russell, got to get back to my tea now. If you finish before I'm back, cheers for the stream. Thank you, Russell. If you've not already gone. Sean, I had a great proposal plan with a backup that became necessary. I took her to a fancy dinner, but they stopped to market the wine being provided, so I went with a backup plan. I like the fact you had a backup plan. Disappointing my old undiagnosed autistic self. I'm disappointed by my 26-year-old undiagnosed autistic self. I didn't have a backup plan, but I was going to say if I was to propose tomorrow, I would have a backup plan. But if I was to propose tomorrow, that would suggest that I've got some bad news for my current wife. So don't worry, I'm not going to propose to anyone. Gigi, I was pregnant and we thought it was the cheapest way to get married to get everything working out the baby coming, so we got married for free. And we didn't invite anyone. Oh well. About the allowances, you're right. Marriage is all about allowances. My wife and I have been together 30 years. Oh, crikey, nice work. And to be honest, she has done well putting up with me and she never complains. That's allowances, isn't it? That's 30. Well done. Don't want to be patronising, but 30-ish years. There's a lot going on right there, isn't there? That longevity doesn't happen accidentally. So yeah, two-way street it has to be to last that long together. Autistic tech. I like having a tablet, but I would not get one from a cell provider. They cost more and charge you extra for an unneeded plan for the tablet. Yeah, it's a bit late for me, autistic tech. Oh well. Um, right, when I'm on the Xbox most nights, don't see the context there. Marriage is a lot of compromise and respect. Married 19 years and together 30 years. Nice work, Helen. Are we sure Mark Twain wasn't Shania Clayman's father? Haha, nice one. Our church friends are doing a stargazing event that just happened to start half hour after dinner ended, so I did it there under the stars. Oh, bless you, Sean. That's the way to do it. Um, I could do a renewal of vows. Yeah, I did think about that, particularly when I was going through my traumatic episode 3 or 4 years ago, and then which led to me finding out I'm autistic. I was like, oh, I can make up for my faux pas by renewing our vows, and yeah, then realised that I'm autistic. And my wife was like, "Why are you thinking about the speech?" It was years ago, and the idea to renew our vows, or my idea, kind of fell by the wayside. So, but yeah, maybe one day. It's an excuse to get together. He says, not liking parties very much. But, oh well. Cool. Um, well, we're an hour and 45, and I might wrap up shortly, unless there's a a surge in demand for my endless wit. It's not endless if I curtail this live stream, is it? Um, so in to prolong the pain, I mean the enjoyment, if you have any questions you want to ask me, now is your time. In fact, I'm going to give you the time, like a bossy teacher, to put your questions in while I put the picture back on the wall. So I'm not leaving the room. I'm not leaving the live stream. I'm just giving you time to put any questions in the chat. And if there are none, then I'll wrap it up. No pressure. Right. Oh, bye, Arlene. Take care. Ring pop is a candy ring in the US. Oh, okay. Didn't know that. Autistic tech. For some reason, all the talk about Mark Twain remind me of Sesame Street's Monster Speech Theatre. My name is Vincent Twice. Vincent Twice. Cool. Were you scared of using YouTube and putting yourself out there when you started? Thank you, Amanda, for your question. Was I scared? No, not really. Um, I was, I was quite worried that no one would watch my videos. Like it would be an embarrassing failure. But then I thought I'll just delete the channel and no one will know because no one watched the videos. Was I scared? I was a little bit worried about negative comments because there are unpleasant people in the world with nothing better to do than make people unhappy by writing horrible things. Um, but again, I just thought, well, if that happens, I'm not going to know who they are. Um, they couldn't possibly know who I am. Otherwise, if they had any compassion for me, they wouldn't make such horrible comments. So I just thought, what's the worst that can happen by starting a YouTube channel? No one watches it. People are unkind. Get rid of it. Do something else. The particularly the early videos, the quality, the recording quality, the editing, the sound, the ideas, just very ropey. But I'm proud of the channel, that the fact that I've stuck with it, the fact that I've kept the old videos up there. Um, yeah, so no is the answer. I'm disappointed in the lack of engagement. But that's just ego talking. It's not about. I mean, it'd be nice if I just could sit at home in my pajamas and make YouTube videos all day. Do not get me wrong, but um, just being able to have this chat slash monologue, it's just priceless. So I would say if you want to do it, go for it. Don't worry about the numbers. And hook up with people. Ask questions like you've just asked of people who have a YouTube channel, like you know, possibly a much bigger one than I have, and just ask them, and they'll be happy to help. I would have thought. So, I mean, yeah, I get it. It's quite exposing to talk about yourself, and I never thought that I would do live streams or unfiltered videos because I didn't. I I was very guarded for the first year because I didn't. I thought they had to be hyper edited, like slick as possible, which is laughable now because I look at the old videos. I'm like, crikey, they're awful. I mean, I was trying to edit them and make them funny, and just the quality's not there. Um, and I thought that that's what they had to be, but as I've done the as I've made more videos and connected with more autistic people, I've realized that authenticity is rule number one, and that's not to say you can't edit or do fun things, but people want to see the real you, not the tricks and all the whizzy things that maybe other YouTube channels have. They just want to see the real you, and yeah, that's quite scary because you're being vulnerable. But then, yeah, I've appreciated it because it's helped me find out about myself and autism. So, good question. I went off on one. Um, Hello, I look forward to your videos. They're entertaining, informed, and thought-provoking. Thank you. I love making them, and they give me some structure to my week, give me something to look forward to. Um, it's always nice to, I'm just trying to regain some storage space in my Chrome account. It's boring. Uh, Fair enough. Thank you for your kind comment. Um, Kerry, how old are you? How did you feel when your first child was born? Do you think that being a girl dad is more emotional than a boy dad? Do you think how old? I'm 43. How do you feel when your first child was born? I was ecstatic. Um, Cried my body weight in tears. Do you think being a girl dad is more emotional than a boy dad? Trying to wrap my head around that. I see what you mean because I am a boy and a dad. Um, is it more emotional having a girl if you're a dad than if you have a boy? No, I mean my first child is is my daughter. My second one's a son. Um, Although I do get into trouble because I didn't cry the same tears I cried when my son arrived. Yeah, it's not because I love him less. There are things going on in my workplace which sadly made the arrival of my second son, from my point of view, a lot less enjoyable and um, fun than it would have been. But I was going through a horrible time at work, and I told my workplace, I was like, I'm going to be a dad for the second time soon. This is a stress that I do not need. And then he arrived, and I was still thinking about that, sadly. So it was less emotional than when my daughter arrived, mainly because of me thinking about work. So yeah, again, just being upfront with you. Autistic, I post short videos and intro on my channel, but I've temporarily made it private so I can make something longer. Yeah, um, that's a good idea. If you're going to make videos, you're not quite sure whether it's the right format, the right length, the reaction that you might receive. Um, Upload it, keep it private, go back to it, and then yeah, have another go. Or oh, obvious stuff, but actually, there's a lot of stuff that I might say is obvious now about a YouTube channel that I didn't think of when I started it. Um, so yeah, I mean, one tip I've only recently learned is that if you upload a video, make sure it's private or unlisted for 24 hours, and then make it public because it's something to do with the algorithms. Um, YouTube checks your video, tries to figure out who wants to watch your video. It's magic. Um, but yeah, don't publish a video as soon as you've uploaded it, or make it public. Uh, Keep it hidden for 24 hours and then press publish. And yeah, apparently that's the way to get more viewers. But not that it's worked for me yet. Amanda, if you keep going, I have a channel, but I've been navigating serious stuff right now, so it's been paralyzing with fear. Um, yeah, I mean, I think what do you want out of a YouTube? I mean, a YouTube channel. Do you want a tiny audience? In which case, you're going to get one because there'll be a niche. There'll be an audience for the niche that you're creating. Do you want it to be? Do you want to monetize it? Well, I'm not the person to ask about that because I'm nowhere near that. Um, because if you are going to monetize your channel, like if it's going to make money for you, you need to have a strategy. It's not just going to happen. I think people who say it just happens are being disingenuous. That they've got some level of planning going on there. Um, they thought about it and they've grown their channel because that's what they want. I don't think these channels just explode in terms of numbers. Um, People put thought into it, and that's good that that happens because they put an effort into it and they're getting rewards for it. I don't think it's just, oh, whoops, I've got a channel with 100,000 subscribers. How did that happen? Well, I don't think that happens like that. Um, so yeah, keep going. I think the main thing is that you enjoy it. Um, these live streams are, as you can tell, just hugely indulgent, as I keep saying, because I just get to talk at the laptop and connect with people and feel better about my miserable life and then move on. Um, the YouTube videos, again, I make them because I enjoy making them, and I like being creative. It's the process. As soon as I've uploaded the video, I'm like, right, next one. Um, and the fact that people watch the videos and say nice things about them just blows my mind. I'm like, still, like I've been doing this for 20 months. Yeah, 20 months. I'm like, and it just feels endlessly surprising, like the feedback that I get, and and it still feels brand new, which is a good thing. I don't feel jaded about this at all. I feel like I'm just getting started. Helen, thank you. I'm going to wrap up very shortly, but I do appreciate these questions. They're great. Um, right, let me catch up. Onion rings. Well, bye, Amanda. You've already gone. Um, okay, I find that fathers sometimes feel a special bond with their daughters and feel more protective. Oh, I see what you mean. Sorry, I misunderstood. And let them get away with more. Um, well, I'm not sure that's the case in my house. I mean, for one thing, my son is autistic, so I'm generally able to empathize more with him because I understand the struggles that he's going through, and the preferences that he has, and the way that his brain tends to work. Whereas my daughter, um, no, she's not autistic, um, and so there's a double empathy problem there. Do I let her get away with stuff more than I let my son get away with stuff because she's female? Not, I don't think so. No. But it might be different elsewhere. When you got diagnosed, did you read any books on autism, memoirs or otherwise? Um, yes, I did read Untypical by Pete Warmby. Um, and I bought another book more recently than that. Um, and I really like to read it, but again, I struggle with books. I found Untypical by Pete Warmby really easy to read, so fair play to him, because if he can make someone like me read a book, he's obviously doing a good job. Um, just type in another title of the book. Autism is Not a Disease by Jodie Hare. So I bought that one a few months ago. Still haven't read it. Read the first couple of chapters on most of them. Um, but that's more of a political book rather than um, talking about autism from a single person's point of view. So yeah, Pete Warmby's book wasn't like particularly revelatory, but it was very reassuring to read this person's thoughts on their experiences as an autistic person. It made me feel better about being autistic, made me feel less alone. So yeah, I'd recommend that. Um, yeah, no worries. Understanding my son, I'm trying to. Just because he's autistic and I'm autistic doesn't mean we're identical, of course. It just means that I've got more of an understanding of how his brain works than I do his daughters and his sisters, my daughters. It's not so much a gender thing, it's more an autism neurotypical thing. Um, but one thing I did do when I was in my teens, when I didn't know that I'm autistic, I did read self-help books or skim read them. And if I can find, oh, there we are, another prop. I'm gonna get it. And because I was very, 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 very unhappy as a 17-year-old, and um, so I was reading these self-help books, or constantly gravitating towards the self-help section of the bookshop, and then I found this book, Prozac Nation. So I bought this book. I did read it, um, and I'm just showing off now because it's signed, and I don't know if you can see that. So I got the book signed in Cambridge, 2002, by Elizabeth Wurtzel, who's sadly not with us anymore. And she said I read it again and again and again and again. She misheard me at the book signing. What I think I said to her was that when I was reading it at the University of East Anglia in Norwich on a field trip, I walked around the lake in the university grounds again and again and again and again because I was so unhappy. I was thinking about going into the lake. Um, yeah, I was not happy, and I was reading her book at that time, but she thought that I was saying that I read her book lots of times. But I'm glad she thought that. Yeah. Um, so yeah, self-help books um, is what I did. Yeah, wanted to read a lot of when I was a teenager and didn't know who I was. Um, Pierre Novelli's Why Can't I Just Enjoy Things? A Comedian's Guide to Autism. Oh yeah, I've heard of this chap. Yeah, Pierre. Thank you. Didn't know he had written a book though. Oh, that's brilliant. Thank you, Kerry. I'll check that one out. Nice one. Fern Brady, yeah, Fern Brady. Is it again? Yeah, I really ought to. She's great, Fern Brady. Why have I not got her book? Yeah, funny autistic comedian. I'm there, basically doing what I want to do for a living. Um, Kitty in the garden. I've just arrived. Glad you're still live streaming. Yeah, I'm going to wrap up very shortly, Kitty. But fantastic to see you. So thank you. Um, and I was asking people if they had any questions for me. And I'm glad that I asked that because the questions have been great and I've probably overshared, but then it's a live stream, isn't it? So if I wasn't oversharing, it'd be very dull or more dull than it would have been otherwise. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, great questions. Any more questions? Oh, Juji, thank you. You said made some nice comments. But videos are good. I could see the effort you put into those. Um, I thought the Q&A video that I'm going to post tomorrow night would be easy peasy, like no editing, well, very little editing. It took me ages just to put in the questions. Not that I'm asking for sympathy, I'm just making the point that it took me a lot longer than I thought it would. So, yeah, when you watch it, bear that in mind. I tried really, really hard, and I want your approval for that. Mm. But yeah, I think it's tempting to think that people just upload videos. They put an introduction or not even that. They just go, "Hello, right, I'm going to talk now," and I'm talking and I'm talking a bit more. I'm going to do a bit more talking, and I finished talking now. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Bye. That was easy. 10,000 views. Nice. Um, but of course, it isn't just that. It's like making sure that the house is quiet. So picking a time in the day when there's no one else in the house, making sure the cat's not about to pounce on my face or knock over the lamp, making sure that the lighting is half decent, making sure the camera's on a level, making sure the camera works, um, making sure the background is relatively interesting, making sure I've not got soup on the jumper that I'm wearing, making sure I've had a shave, um, reflection in the glasses. Um, I even started talking yet in the video. That's big. And then you can't just talking to camera without any structure. I mean, the very least you need a theme, but I found that you can't just say, right, I'm going to talk about small talk, um, press record, see how I get on. I just can't do that, and I don't think people on YouTube generally do that. They have some level of preparation, which you would expect as an autistic person to prepare. Um, but maybe people give the impression that they're just talking spontaneously and coming out with some amazing zingers, pieces of wisdom. And what am I trying to say here? Making a video is it's quite a lot to it. Not that I'm after your praise or admiration. I'm just agreeing with you. It's like they don't have to be the most professional videos, but for it to be a good video, like one worth watching, there has to be some effort put in it. Even if it just looks like someone pressed record, it's not as straightforward as that. I don't think so anyway. But, but it would be great just to spend half an hour on a video and move on to the next one. But I'd knock out 4 or 5 videos a week. And you wouldn't watch them because there'd be too many. Um, how do you educate yourself if not by books? Yeah. So to answer that question, Kerry, I watched a lot of YouTube videos and read some academic articles. So Google and YouTube. That's what I did over a period of 2 years until I realized, I'm autistic. So did a deep dive into autism, but not through books. But yeah, what's the Steve Silberman book, Neurotribes? That looks like a good one. Devon Price, on the double empathy problem. There are obviously, particularly in recent years, 10, 15 years, lots of books about autism that would be and are super helpful. I had Pete's book in audio format. It's very good. Fanbraid's bit is a good listen too. Nice, yeah. Um, I think Pete's writing another book. I'm calling him Pete. I don't know the guy personally. I've contacted him on LinkedIn. Um, but yeah, I think he's got another one coming up. Um, yeah, Fern Brady and Pierre read their own audio. It's super. Now you're talking, Kerry. What's your favorite musical band? Mine is Coldplay. Um, shall I play a bit of Coldplay just because I'm feeling creative? Tell you what, see if you can guess the Coldplay song. Not that I'm going to sing it, just have to base it on the chords. So hold it there. Oh, messed up already. F sharp major. Well, that was a shambles, but I just thought I'd show off with a little bit of bad guitar. Um, oh, I didn't hear it. Oh, well, that was just torturous for everyone, wasn't it? Favorite musician or band? Mine is Coldplay. Mine is, well, I would have said Radiohead. Um, but I've not really listened to their recent stuff. Who did I say? Rage Against the Machine, Kings of Convenience, Norwegian duo, acoustic guitar. I just can't really answer the question. There's so much. I mean, house music. I'm really into these guys, Sultan and Shepherd. Fantastic. So yeah, I can't really answer that question. Um, can you read Eclipse? I'm not sure. Can you read Eclipse? Ryan Kelly's book. What's it? I can't remember the title of it. I've not read that book, but yeah, I'm glad. I've heard good things about it though. Neurotribes. It was meaty, more academic, less storytelling. Yeah, I flicked through it. I think it might have been in Cambridge. Um, yeah, it did look really intense. I was like, there's about 600 pages there, and it's very academic. Um, so yeah, I think I've put you off with the bad guitar playing. So I might have to wrap up. Sorry if you couldn't hear it. Well, probably a good thing you couldn't hear it because it was awful. I messed up. I went straight from the first chord of the verse to the first chord of the bridge, and it was awful. So yeah, sorry if there are any mic problems, but sorry, not sorry, because it was shocking, and I don't know what I was thinking. I can try some beatboxing. I could try it, but I can't actually beatbox. So I just looked like I was recovering from a chesty cough. So I've put you all off because I can't see any more chat. Um, people are leaving quietly and politely in the virtual space because I've embarrassed myself with that guitar playing. If you can even justify it by calling it playing, like a monkey hammering a piece of wood with nylon strings on it, steel strings. Um, Sound of silence. Yeah, that's my wife's favorite sound when I try and play guitar. Sound of silence. Yeah, Simon and Garfunkel. You didn't embarrass yourself. We couldn't hear it. Well, I did embarrass myself because it looked like I was miming playing a musical instrument. But I'm actually quite glad I have embarrassed myself because I'll bear in mind if I do attempt to do that again, I'll know that I need to hold it up. So how close do I need to hold it up? Can you hear that? Auditing with autism. Good. Auditing with autism can actually play the guitar. Can you hear that? Yeah. So yellow, which is the song I was trying to play, goes B, and then you lift your finger, I believe, to give that echoey sound, and then go up to the F sharp, and then an E. That's what I was trying to do. What's the other one? No, I'm not going to do that. I was going to try to attempt to play treble and realised I'd forgotten the chords. No sound, just fret noise. That's a pretty withering review of my guitar playing. Yeah. Is it me or is that guitar huge? The guitar's not huge. I'm just very, very small. Yeah. I'm 3'2". It is huge, isn't it? But I was holding it at a funny angle. Um, when I hold it like that, sort of leaning forward, and I'm like that backwards, I look like one of the borrowers. Look like a tiny person in a matchbox. And I just did the thing that I hate as an autistic person. I caused an unexpected loud noise, which went straight through my thick skull. Um, do you have a limiter on your mic? I don't have a mic because I don't know what I'm doing. Um, 20 months into doing this YouTube thing. Um, so yeah, what I need to do is actually, I'm going to have a chat with Paul at Adult Autism quite soon, and maybe that's one thing I should ask him is about tech, you know, proper microphone, that sort of thing. Because yeah, I'm amazed that this works. I'm amazed that you can hear me. But yeah, for whatever reason, I stand a little bit backwards and try and play some terrible Coldplay. Maybe the laptop is programmed to hate Coldplay, um, which is a bit unfair. I think Coldplay get a bad rep as it is from humanity. You don't want computers to be programmed to hate Coldplay to the point where they won't allow it to be heard. Or maybe it's just my version of Coldplay that's not allowed for your sensitive ears, which is fair enough because it was utterly dreadful. Um, Kitty and going, it's a laptop after my own heart. That's a bit harsh. Yeah. Sound is good for talking. Maybe it's a YouTube setting. Maybe you got me thinking. Maybe I'm on like a bronze level YouTube setting, and I'm not important or talented enough to have a platinum level whereby I'll be able to inflict my musical talent on you. Or maybe I'm just chatting nonsense like I have been for the last 2 hours, 17 minutes. Yeah, the voice audio is mystifying. I don't know why. Um, type Bottio on Google and see what that looks like. That's you. I'm scared to type that in. What I dread to think. What is that? What the heck of the egg? Sorry, I was looking at a Microsoft privacy statement. That's why I was going, what the heck of the egg? Bottio. What? I don't know. Have I mistyped that? Body shape, yeah. Oh, that's your body shape. Is it? Read your poem Eclipse. My poem Eclipse. Can't even remember writing a poem called Eclipse now. Okay. And I will wrap this up, I promise, because I'm chatting more nonsense than usual. Eclipse. Oh, I do remember writing a poem about the eclipse. Oh yeah, it's not a fun poem though. Okay, well I will read this one. Thank you for the suggestion. Um, I yes, thank you, Kerry. Thank you for diving into my poetry. That's lovely and very ego boosting thing for me to know. Um, yeah, maybe it's a copyright thing, the music, or maybe I'm just terrible at figuring out sound levels. I don't know. I'm going to read a poem, and it's not a fun poem. Basically, I went to see the eclipse in Cornwall in 1999. Um, and James Acaster's material about that period of time is a lot funnier than anything that I have to say about it. And certainly funnier than the poem I'm about to share, because I've read it. Well, I'm not sure. I don't think you are. I'm just amazed that anyone would visit my website. Um, so yeah, I was very unhappy. I was 17. No, I was 17 in 1999, and I went on holiday with a bunch of people that, well, one of whom was a friend, others perhaps just humoured me. And here's the poem. It's called Eclipse. It took me years to understand that I was part of the group because I wasn't a threat, a figure of fun. Though I thought, though I thought You were laughing with me. Everyone was losing their minds about the sun playing hide and seek with the moon, though not as much as the birds, who seemed to be dying until the sun reappeared. We all paid double for those few minutes of darkness. I never cared about the sun or moon. I just wanted to be with you. Yeah, so pretty straightforward poem about feeling like a loner despite being part of a group and spending lots of money to see something that happened for 10 minutes. Mm. Not like seeing Scissor Sisters last night. That was a lot of money, but that was like 3 hours with the support act, Gold Frap. £400 well spent when you factor in the travel and the food. Crikey. Thank you, thank you, Kitty. Good poem. It's a pretty basic poem, but I think generally basic is good. Strive for directness. Directness, yeah. Poetry, YouTube videos. Yeah, I don't do complicated. Don't, just not intelligent enough to try and dress things up. Am I kidding you, Kate? I don't think so. I remember that silence in the second dawn chorus. It was freaky. It was. It wasn't worth twice the price for going to Cornwall, though. But yeah, the birds went mad. It's like, hang on a minute, it's night time already. No, it just went mad. It's like the end of the world in the bird community. My MVO meter just skyrocketed. What, for seeing the eclipse? Yeah, but it was eclipsed, haha, by my feeling of misery. I was like, oh, right, it's gone dark, but I feel really unhappy anyway. That's how self-absorbed I was and am. No, Goldfrapp. Yeah, Goldfrapp's there. Last night in Birmingham. She's on tour. She's the support act for the Scissor Sisters or Scissor Sisters. She was great, although she did more new songs than I thought she would. I thought she'd stick to the hits. The biggest one, like by far, the one that got the biggest reaction was "Ooh La La," and it was good. I'm smiling thinking about it. Goldfrapp and Scissor Sisters, yeah. I still can't say Scissor Sisters. Yeah, it was brilliant. Very expensive, but brilliant. I have heard of TV on the radio. My mate Tim was into them, but quite a few years ago now. Maybe I should revisit TV on the radio. Yeah. Yeah, so you know where I am. I'm going to wrap this up. But you know where I am for music recommendations. Um, yeah, always. Um, Still writing music reviews, so if you don't want to visit and you want to see more Autistic Not Alien, otherwise known as Neil, write, say nonsense, then I can just carry on being indulgent and try and win your approval by sharing more links and whatnot. Um, and I write for God is in the TV, which sounds like a religious magazine, but it's not. It's a music and culture magazine online, and I'm going to find a review, and hopefully, at least one of you will at least give it a glance. And if you've got any band recommendations, let me know. And who knows, I might write a review about them. I'm going to put the link in the chat. I never thought that I'd be writing a review about uh, shoegaze drum and bass from Denmark, but honestly, that genre exists, and I've written about it in that review. Um, Russell's back. See, Russell, I'm just endless. Da, 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 da. I keep saying I'm going to wind it up, but I keep wittering on. Moosey's here. Hello. Sorry if you've probably been there for 3 hours already. That's crazy. My music playlist was playing Walk Like an Egyptian. The coincidence. If you're Spanish and try to say Scissor Sisters, it comes out something like si eso existe, if that exists. Nice one. Can't even say it in Spanish. Lucy, looks like you missed the stream. I am sorry about that. I do try and schedule these things in. The scheduled one doesn't work, and then I have to start up another live stream. But I put that note in the scheduled live stream and say, if it doesn't work, I will immediately start up another one. Um, and then people have to go, oh, right, I'll leave the one that was scheduled and go into the one that you've just started. So yeah, sorry if you didn't get that memo. Um, Sounds like a good night out, Dad. It's been a long time since I saw live music. Yeah, it was great, although I felt bad for my son because it was not his idea of fun. But yeah, my daughter and wife and I had a great time. Small faces, Ogden's not gone flake. Okay, small faces, 60s. Juju, sorry, I missed the last minute. My husband had to info dump. That's fine. Hopefully, it was an interesting info dump or info share. Helen, we'll check out your music reviews. Check out the other reviews. It's just endless. There's loads of people write for the magazine. Um, it's just it's like doing a live stream to the reviews. I just lose myself in what I'm writing about. Um, yeah. Uh, so if anything, it's a coping mechanism to write about music for me. And if anyone reads what I've written and laughs at my dad jokes, well, I generally don't know whether they have laughed or not, or whether they've read my reviews, because very, very, very rarely does anyone ever say anything about them. And that sounds horribly bitter because it is. Um, Feature Stanley Ullman doing his gobbledygook language. Love that. Nice. Language related trivia. That's fine by me. So, um, I'm feeling bad for wanting to wind this up, or hey, wanting to. I just feel bad for you guys having to listen to this. But you've chosen to be here. So, yeah, I feel bad for dipping out now because Moosey just got here. But if you really wanted to, if you're that way inclined, you could watch the recording, I guess. I've just realised the glasses are reflecting, and I should have realised that 2.5 hours ago. Um, oh, what on earth? What am I doing? I don't know what I'm doing. Did I put this back on at some point? I can't remember. Um, so yeah, I'm gonna give it 10 seconds. Anything pressing, urgent, fascinating, put it in the chat. Otherwise, I'm going to leave you to it and dwell upon my Patreon bank nightmare. But thank you for giving me 2.5 hours headspace away from that, or 2 hours headspace away from that, because I spent the first half hour whinging about it. No, I definitely did not have my glasses off because I can't read that. I've had them on the whole time, haven't I? And the reason I have had the glasses on, is because I need them to read the chat. Oh well. One day I'll understand lighting. I think Paul helped me out with that adult autism because I keep leaning on him for favors. It's not fair. Yeah, thank you for the email, Kerry. Yeah, I will look at it now, I guess. Lisa, Daniel was told thing I couldn't make it earlier, but I can watch the video later. Yeah, this always happens. I wind up and then someone turns up and I'm like, oh no, I know this person now and I have to go. So sorry, Lisa. Very good to see you. But yeah, I'm going to wind up. Put the glasses on. Doesn't matter. Being able to see is quite helpful reading the chat. Okay. Thank you, Kitty. Yeah. So I'm going to see you all soon. Hopefully. What am I doing next week? Oh, my diary's there. I think I'll be able to do a live stream next week. I haven't got gigs to go to. I've got a Jimmy Carr protest to go to. If it happens, if enough people want to do it, Jimmy Carr, boo. So yeah, that'll keep me entertained on a Saturday night. Other than that, and that's 2 weeks from now, I should be able to do this. If you close the curtain on the window opposite, yeah, it's not the window. It's not the window. It's the. He says it's not that. It's just I've not elevated the laptop properly, despite this being number 12 live stream or whatever it is. Oh. And the thing is, I can't check how it works before I start the live stream for whatever reason. Oh, stop moaning. Just need a polarized filter on the lights and a 90-degree polarized filter on the camera. Easy peasy. Polarized filter. Polarized filter. Okay. Thank you, Musi. 90 degrees. I mean, I have watched videos about YouTube lighting, but it's clearly not sunk into my brain, is it? 90-degree polarized filter. Right, that's more homework for me. It's good, thank you. Thank you, Kay. Thanks for the live stream. Enjoy the rest of the day, evening. Sorry again if I've missed any comments. Thank you for tolerating this tirade of silliness. I'm hoping to have some good news at the bank tomorrow, and then hopefully I'll be a bit more cheery next time. Although no doubt my brain will manufacture another crisis, and I'll be feeling sorry for my autistic self again. Such are the challenges of me being autistic. I was going to say, such are the challenges of being autistic, but I cannot speak for every autistic person because we're all different. So thank you so much. Coaching on the glasses, yeah. I love all these practical solutions from fellow autistic people. I'm going to play around with this, he says, rather insincerely to himself. I'm going to leave you to it. I'm going to do the cheesy 3-2-1 and hopefully see you next week. If I do schedule it, do bear in mind that I may have to then cancel that scheduled one when it's due to start and then start up another one. So bear that in mind. So put it in your calendar, but bear in mind that I might need to set up another YouTube link on the day. Hopefully that's understood. Any suggestions for future videos? Any comments about anything I've said tonight? You just want to whinge about something or share some good news or whatever it is, share music recommendations or just make silly words and share them with me. You know where I am. So thank you ever so much, everyone. Thank you for cheering me up. Stay safe, stay happy, and 3, 2, 1. Bye.